Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Killjoy Jake YouTube channel, where we're talking horror, baby. How we doing? It's a Tuesday afternoon, and it is time to talk some horror news. I'm really excited to get into it, ladies and gents. Thank you so much for being with us tonight. So excited to talk about a bunch of crazy stuff, and answer all your burning horror questions. We have a lot of exciting things to get into. News that is coming coming in hot. A lot of exciting stuff coming out tomorrow, specifically including a trailer for a movie that I'm really excited for, and we'll be talking about tomorrow, hopefully. I'm about to pull an all-nighter because we are shooting some secret projects, so I want to get out a whole lot of content on the page before I do that. But anyways, I don't want to talk too much about that because I want to keep it a secret. But why I'm bringing it up is you might notice that there is a giant white table behind me. Pay no attention to the table. It's not a big deal. And it's our prop table for this production. So don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You'll understand what all of this going on behind me means soon. But as of right now, I can't talk about it. Secret project. I love secrets. I love keeping secrets because it's a lot of fun. But anyways, let's talk a little horror news. Let's see who's hanging out with us. First, you guys already know I'm a caffeine addict. So, that's what I'm talking about, baby. Let's crack this bad boy open. Let's talk some horror. Let's get into it. We got Coop hanging out, who's a channel member. Greatly appreciate your support. My dude saying, Jake, my brother, hope you are doing well. Had a great day, ready for a great night. Hell yeah, dog. Rock and roll. We're coming off of Memorial Day weekend. You know, hell yeah. Hell yeah. Rock and roll. Hope you had some fun on the long weekend. My fiance has this whole week off, so it's been really nice just hanging out with her, doing some stuff, vibing. So hopefully you're having a good day too. And if you got stuff going on, if you got work, if you got school, I guess you wouldn't really have school because it's almost June now, right? We're all done with school at this point. Hopefully you're just having a fun day. Hopefully you're just having some fun, getting some rest in, getting some chilling in, going outside. It's beautiful outside. Fucking hot today, baby. But I can't complain. Life is good. RJ Skranky is saying, got my iced brew ready. Let's talk some horror. Hell yeah. You know, I've been leaning more towards the energy drink side of things lately, but I think, you know, after this, I'm moving back to coffee. I kind of miss it. So RJ, I think I'm getting myself an iced coffee at some point too. Following in the footsteps, baby. We got Magnificent Logo saying, I'm so hyped for Backrooms, seeing it this Thursday. Oh, you already know I'm so excited for Backrooms, baby. This is going to be a very good release. I think this is going to be one of top 10 from the whole year. I'm easily predicting that. It's why I put it in today's video, because I definitely want to talk a little bit about it. Backrooms is a movie I'm very excited for. We're hearing some pretty damn good reviews about it. New A24 horror movie, and of course directed by a 19-year-old, now 21, I believe, moving on to 22, Kane Parsons. Youngest director for A24, which is so damn cool. Kid's showing a lot of talent, and we're already seeing some people online turning green, baby. I mean, turning crazy green over this whole situation, getting peanut butter and jealous over this kid. There are people claiming that, you know, Kane Parsons didn't even direct this movie. They're like, oh, I read somewhere in the ether. Don't worry about it. Not gonna cite my source. My source is my brain, Buster Brown. That one of the other people mentoring him ghost directed the film. Bro, fuck off. What? No, dude. You're just jealous and a little stupid. Mark Duplass, one of the cast members of this movie, a man who I love so much. So much love to Mark. He's great as, you know, Peach, Fuzz, and Creep. And everything else he does, especially with his brother. So much great stuff from Mr. Mark Duplass. Transcending the space of horror, too. He does a lot of great, like, indie and drama stuff as well. He came out today. He made a big video talking about how, he was on set. He's like, dog, I was on set. And I know Kane had that whole situation so under control. And despite his age, he was like, just knew exactly what he was doing. Handled the situation with precision, and I think he's cooked up a really cool and very interesting movie. Something that a lot of people love about his series on YouTube, which is where all of this started, was how like layered and deep and how crazy the lore gets. I mean, there's so much to it. If you watch any of the videos over on his page, you know that this guy is prepared and ready to rock and roll with the whole feature film. I have no doubt in my mind about it. I've been listening to him talk on that A24 podcast, which if you guys haven't listened to, he's done a couple with James Wan now. Dude, I mean, he's a very intelligent kid. Like, you can tell. Like, he's intelligent than most people his age. He's more intelligent than most people his age just by listening to him talk. I mean, my God. But I have no doubt in my mind that Backrooms is going to kick ass. This is going to be a really good movie, and I'm very excited. Very excited for it. You know, the movie directed by motherfucking Kane Parsons, who I believe is about to be another very big name in the space of horror. So I'm excited for it. And Magnificent Logo is even asking, how excited are you for Backrooms on a scale of 0 to 10? Honestly, like, I think it's just because of all of this dumb energy that's going on in the space that I just want to give it a 10. Like, I was excited for this movie, but now I'm like, why are people shitting on this thing before it even comes out? Like, y'all are just dumb. Y'all just want to hate. I hate that when someone gets success, no matter who it is, it seems like the internet people come out of the woodwork to just get angry, get jealous, and just piss all over the parade. That sucks. Why do we do that as human beings, dude? This is like people like Curry Barker, people like Kane Parsons here. We should champion these people. We should say, hell yes, you did all of this at such a young age. You're fucking amazing. That's great. This is a good thing. This is badass, dude. And now we have a whole new generation making great horror flicks, making movies that I think are going to be remembered for a very long time here. You know, these are things that we should celebrate, man. We all love good movies. We all love good media. And, you know, I think it's something that really frustrates me because I hate seeing a great thing like this gets squashed by hate and jealousy. It sucks, man, because we could all just be having a party about Backrooms. We could all be partying in liminal space right now. But some of y'all just want to be pissing in the punch bowl, and I don't really appreciate that. You know, you think it's a Snickers bar, in the pool, and then it ends up being a turd. You know, don't be the turd in the pool. That's what I'm trying to say. This metaphor is getting a little long-winded. Let's get back to the chat. We got Erica stabbing for likes out there. How we doing, Erica? Thank you for being with us. Thank you for being a channel member. I greatly appreciate you. Thank you for the support. We got YB Coraline saying, hello, everyone. Ready to talk some horror today. You're damn right. I'm fired up today already. I'm already on my soapbox. We've only been streaming for 7 minutes, baby. You know what's up. Michael Rue, thanks for being a channel member. Sup? What's up, Michael? How we doing? How we doing? I love your name. Reminds me of one of my favorite slasher villains, Michael Myers, baby. I knew that Snickers tasted weird. I love you, Michael. Bro, you're awesome. 10 out of 10, bro. Thanks for being with us. I love it. Peyton Ruark. Hi, guys. What's up, Peyton? How we doing? Thank you for being a channel member as well. Derek J saying hello. Hello, hello, Derek. How we doing? Monacuma 999. Upside down. That's a 666. I like it. You're saying, Jake, DBD, Dead by Daylight, tweeted Rhea Ripley. If she plays Dead by Daylight, people think Terrifier might be coming to Dead by Daylight. Soon with her coming as well. That would be dope as hell. You know, maybe we get like Art the Clown as one of the new killers and like a Sienna, you know, protagonist, and maybe one of the skins is like Rhea Ripley or something. Or maybe it's the other way around. Maybe Rhea Ripley's one of the killers, one of Art the Clown's like sidekicks. Maybe that could be a skin for the killer. I don't know. Maybe that could tease like something as to what the future of Terrifier is going to be. Like, could it be predicting that Rhea Ripley's going to play a new good guy or a new bad guy in the world of Terrifier? That's definitely the big question. Whatever's going on with that. I will say, you know, even outside of the space of Terrifier, it seems like Rhea Ripley is definitely getting involved with horror a lot more these days. We saw a couple of months ago that she met up with the Levies, who of course are in charge of the Scream franchise, which I personally really love that first movie. Super excited for the sequel. Could we see a Rhea Ripley showing up in Scream as one of the killers? You know, that is something I feel very confident in. You know, not that I don't think Rhea Ripley will... I'm sure she'll be in Terrifier 4 in some capacity. Will she play the larger-than-life role than everyone's saying, though? That's what I'm not 100% about. Scream 2, however, I could totally see Rhea playing that role. I am not going to eat that, but I really appreciate you so much. Thank you, thank you. Can you put it in the fridge? I'm going to be streaming for 2 hours. Is that okay? She's staring daggers at me right now. That pasta salad is so... I want to see a show of hands in the chat who likes pasta salad. because I've come over to the dark side of cold pasta recently, and I like it quite a bit. I can't eat that on straight. Babe, it's going to be sitting there for 2 hours. Do you mind putting it in the fridge? Is that okay? I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Was it good? I'll take that as a yes. Okay. Anyways, back to it, though. What?
Everyone.
Oh, everyone likes pasta salad is what you're saying? Madison loves pasta salad, so she's really happy about this. She's really happy that all these people are loving some pasta salad. That's good. I'm just glad everyone likes it. All right. Listen, pasta salad talk is on the table tonight as well as horror, just for the record. That burp was diabolical. Bro, you don't understand how Madison can burp. Like, man. You have shook this apartment before. Like, I felt the walls shake a little bit. I thought it was an earthquake or something, and it's one of her burps. It's impressive. It's what I'm trying to say. It impresses me.
Phantom.
I don't eat pasta. Can't give my opinion. Brutal. Dude. Ooh. That breaks my heart. Okay, getting back to it. Sorry. Kate from Florida saying, hey, what's up, Kate? How we doing? Thanks for being a channel member. I appreciate you. How we doing? What's up? Paula Fitzhenry is here. Hi, hello. Chris is also with us. Hey, everyone. I'm going to see Obsession tomorrow. Dude, enjoy. Best horror flick of the year so far, in my humble opinion. YB Coraline is saying it was a huge rainstorm this whole weekend. We couldn't do anything. Oh, that sucks, dude. Your school ends on the 26th of June. What? You don't get out until like the end of June? Oh, man. I'm calling the school, dude. I'm saying let them kids have summer. It's the start of June. Come on. Alani Pink Slush, you're damn right. This is one of my favorites. What can I say? I like pink. We have a ton of these in the cotton candy ones right now, Erica. That's too funny. Peyton is saying, I believe you're talking about Backrooms. Got my ticket for Thursday. Me and my buddy are going to go see Backrooms, and we cannot fucking wait. I'm so pumped for this movie. I haven't been this excited for something since Scream 7. Hell yeah. I really think this is going to be a fun one. And I like that we're getting into this age of movies where we're speaking to maybe a little bit of a younger generation. But at the same time, you know, Obsession is definitely kind of the one that I feel kicked that door off its hinges. But at the same time, I still would recommend Obsession to like anybody. Like, I still feel like it's very relatable to, you know, any generation, even though it is very Gen Z coded, just like how, you know, Backrooms totally is too. But I'm still vibing with all these movies, man. We got a lot of good stuff coming here. I can't complain about good movies no matter who they're for. You know, that's kind of where I'm sitting with it. Bro, I did not know Duplass was in that flick. Creep Tapes fucking rules. Yes, yeah, he hasn't really been in a ton in the marketing or anything. I don't know if I've really seen him in the trailers. But dude, I'm really excited to see what his role is in the Backrooms, what that's going to be all about. I hope he's in like during some of the found footage parts. You know what I mean? Like, you're gonna get Mark in there and not have him during the found footage parts of the movies. Like, I think he's got to be there for that. That's my theory. So I don't know, but we'll see. I'm excited. We got Gory Tiger saying, what's up? Green Gaze is saying Scream 8 is going to kill the franchise once and for all if Scream 7 hasn't already. I didn't say that, or I guess I did. That one kid is saying, hey guys, it's me, Jill. What's up, Jill? Or that one kid, how we doing? Oh, we're exposing ghost directors, says Critical Overlord. Did y'all know Toby Hooper didn't direct Poltergeist? Oh man, don't get me started. Don't get me started on that whole thing. That's crazy. I've made my jokes about that shit, but you know, that is kind of it's a crappy claim. You know, it's a crappy claim when you can't really back it up. That's my thing. You know, there's nothing wrong with jokes, but at the same time, dude, like, it's not always a great thing to claim that. What else we got? We got Mig hanging out with us saying, sup people, just arrived. Sorry I was late. I just watched Obsession. I really enjoyed it a lot. I'm glad you enjoyed it a lot. More than a little bit. It's exciting stuff. I'm glad you're with us. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting Obsession in theaters too. This is a good one. Oh my god, you look like a slasher movie. Makes me want popcorn real bad. I don't know why. Jennifer Coolidge took over there for a second. Makes me want popcorn real bad. Kind of like I want a hot dog. I can't do her voice at all, but I'm trying, guys. I'm trying for the bit here. Faith Dorn is saying, hey, Jake, Erica, and Chad, hope everybody is having a great Tuesday. I absolutely am. I hope you are too, Faith. Thanks for being with us. Thanks for talking a little horror tonight. Let us know what you're the most excited for out of all the different topics and things happening in this space. Alpha Warlock is saying, hey, everyone, saw Passenger yesterday. Really wanted more out of that, but was entertained at the least. I agree. I didn't walk away from that movie feeling like I kind of want my money back. No, I definitely had a good time with it. But at the same time, it was like, wish there was some more meat on those bones. Felt a little underdeveloped, felt a little underwritten, in my humble opinion. It did have a really strong marketing campaign, in my opinion. That first initial teaser that played before Primate had me so hyped up for this movie, guys. I was like, every live stream pretty much, I was like, dude, Passenger, that's gonna go hard. That's gonna be sweet. And it was kind of just a 5 out of 10. Like, that's where I'd rank it. And I think that's being generous. Again, I love movies like that. I love me a good jump scare flick. I can get into that. But Passenger kind of looked like it was going to be more than that, Listen, I love me a schlocky slasher where it's all just about the gory kills. I love me a good little jump scare movie where we can just have some scares, walk through a haunted house, essentially. But, sometimes I want something with a little more substance, something where the characters are a little more developed and feel like real people. And Passenger kind of felt like it was going to be that, but I don't know. It just kind of never really figured all that out. So it wasn't terrible. If you want to see it, if you're someone who really likes like Insidious or Sinister, Conjuring, those kinds of movies, I think you'll have a good time with it. But sadly, I don't know if it really amounts to anything more than that, but it's entertaining. It's definitely entertaining. I mean, I don't think it'll lose you, but the characters are just very, very shallow. Dead ass had trouble sleeping after Obsession, says Coop. Nice. That's the vibe that we want from a good horror movie, though. I want to have nightmares about. If I don't have nightmares, what was the point? If I don't have nightmares, I don't want it. That's what I say. Not a pasta salad guy, but give me a potato or a tuna macaroni salad and it's gone, says Michael. Bro, fair enough. I love me a sweet potato. I feel like I'm the only person that likes sweet potatoes. Like in my little space of people, no one likes sweet potatoes. I love them. I'll eat that shit, shell and all, baby. I don't know if you're supposed to do that, but I'll just rip through one of those things, man. Anyways, we got Peter hanging out with us saying, I'm new and I'm a big fan of horror. Well, Peter, you are absolutely in the right place, my friend. We are here to talk horror. We're here to talk all kinds of horror. And I know, something I like to point out every now and then when we have a new fella hanging out with us, is, the title of this stream is Scream 8, Backrooms, Evil Dead Burn. Sounds like we're just talking about those three things, but we are opening up the conversation to all kinds of stuff tonight. I just hope you know that. We're here to talk horror, and that's not limited to one thing or the other. So whatever you're excited about coming up in the future, or maybe something that you've just discovered that's from the past, let us know in the chat. We'll talk about it, my dude. Speaking of which, just real quick, and Peyton, we will get to your super chat. I greatly appreciate your support, my dude. I do just want to throw this out there, because Tales from the Crypt is something that I feel like has been such a major blind spot for me for the longest time. And it really hasn't been on streaming or anywhere to watch except for, getting physical media of it. But it's recently come to Shudder. And ever since I saw this announcement, I'm like, dude, I got to sit down and watch Tales from the Crypt. Like, I've heard so many good things about it. I actually got to meet John Cassier back at, Scarefest 2 years ago now, I want to say that was. Yeah, because that was 2024. The voice of the Crypt Keeper. I actually got to meet him and have a conversation with the guy, and he did the voice, which was cool, live. And I'm like, man, I gotta like sit down and watch this show. So I started it a couple nights ago, and man, dude, Tales from the Crypt is so fucking awesome. Like, Tales from the Crypt goes so hard, and I'm like, this show was made for me. I love anthology-style horror, small little bite-sized horror stories like this. It's so good. Sorry, moving past this, but I just wanted y'all to know that I've just discovered this, and it's been such a blind spot for me, and I'm having such a good time watching this. I am going to binge the whole damn show, and maybe make some kind of video out of it, but I'm having a good time with it so far, dude. Season 1 kicks ass. Peyton Ruark, thank you for the $5. I greatly appreciate your support. You're saying, gonna kick this goal off, have a couple questions. I'm ready for them. Bring it on. Do you think Backrooms has franchise potential? And what were your thoughts on The Boys finale? I dug it. So regarding Backrooms franchise potential, I think that's a really good question, because this movie is tracking to make a fuck ton of money. And that's not everything, but it's a very big part of the question, Sadly, that is where we got to start, I feel, when it comes to questions like this. It's like, is this thing going to make money? Are people going to show up for it? Yes, that is 100% the answer to that question. Originally people were like, oh, I think it's maybe going to make like 20 million opening weekend, which is really good for, like an indie or an A24 horror movie. Nah, it's blowing way past that, bro. It's going to make like upwards of 30 to 40, maybe even more than that. Backrooms has a lot of hype because it is based on something that people are already super familiar with and already does have a big established lore. I think ultimately I'm going to like Obsession more than Backrooms is my prediction, just where I'm sitting now. I would love to be proven wrong in a couple of days. But I do think that something like Backrooms has more of a built-in audience than something like Curry Barker. And that's not a dig at either of those guys. That's not what I'm trying to say. I just feel like you have something like Backrooms where even if you don't know the name Kane Pixels or Kane Parsons, whatever, you might already know what the Backrooms is. There's a familiarity there, and that will drive people to the theaters much more than an original horror film. So that's why you'll hear me just flapping my gums all the time saying, hey guys, this is an original horror movie that you gotta see. Go see it, please. I love talking Scream 7. I love talking Evil Dead Burn. I love talking all these different franchise continuations that are going to be great, and people are absolutely going to show up to see them. But every now and then you get an original horror film that's gonna kick fucking crazy ass. And oftentimes, as someone who does watch like every major release horror-wise, it seems like the majority of my top 10 every single year, by the time we get to December, the majority of it is original horror, man. There's great original horror movies every single year. Sadly, not as many people show up, Backrooms is something that I think is arguably already a franchise, even though this is the first feature film. So it's a weird conversation, but I feel like that same science of why a franchise continues to make money as more sequels progress, despite declining quality in the majority of cases, I think it's the same thing with Backrooms, because it's like there's already so many videos, there's already so many great short films out there, so many excellent videos, not just on Kane's page, but also all over the place. People have made Backrooms shit like all over YouTube, dude. Kane was just kind of the most popular. Kane didn't even come up with the idea. I mean, it was like wasn't it like a Reddit or 4chan post or something like that? Someone posted a furniture store, and they thought like, oh, what if this was like a liminal space? Like, dude, that's crazy. I'd be pissed if I was the person who posted that. But point being, this is an established thing already. People are familiar with it. It's gonna make a ton of money. It's gonna be a franchise. So 100% yes. Not only do I think there will be a sequel, but we're also hearing from Kane Parsons himself that he wants to do a sequel series. So like we might be getting like a whole franchise of movies. We might be getting a whole like HBO Max series, something along those lines. I think we're getting a lot more Backrooms. This is not the end of it. This is something that to my fellow horror creators out there, if you're not talking about Backrooms, you ought to start doing it. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, whisper in your ear. This is going to be something that you're going to want to talk about for a little while now. Love it or hate it, because dude, there's going to be a lot of Backrooms to talk about in the coming years. The Boys, however, I have not finished it. I've just not had time to get through it. There's like the Boys is something that I just think I've gotten a little fatigued on. When it comes to superheroes, it's just never really been my cup of tea. I don't know. It's just never really been like something that I really love. The Boys, though, I definitely like it maybe a little more than everything because of the more satirical elements. And horror elements, because let's be honest, they're there. It's a very bloody, gory, brutal show. And I don't like, there's nothing about The Boys I dislike. I think it's a very well written show. I think that Tony Starr is amazing in that role. Homelander is such a great villain. There's a lot of things I love about the show, but I just have a really hard time following up with superhero stuff. I don't know what it is. I think I'm just feeling the fatigue from so many other superhero projects. Unlike horror, I feel like the space of superheroes is just very repetitive. It's always about the same thing every single time, where, when it comes to horror flicks, at least in my opinion, I feel like there's so many different things happening all over the place. But pretty much every superhero film I've seen in like the last, let's say 7 years, I feel like mostly just relies on the same kind of things. It's like, here's some characters that you love from the comics, and if you don't don't really care about that, these movies are not for you. That is like the vast majority of superhero stuff. I feel from the last 7 years or so. And I don't know, that kind of filmmaking doesn't really speak to me. The Boys, I think is very well done and maybe even more sophisticated than something like that. But I just think superheroes in general, like it's not really calling me right now for that reason. You know, there's just so many things in the space that have not really drawn me to it. The Boys is great. Again, I can't stress that enough. It just sadly falls in a subgenre that I'm just not really vibing with as much these days anymore. Like, I feel like after Endgame came out, I kind of just fell off the whole superhero wagon. But at some point I'm gonna watch it. I've had it spoiled for me, so I won't talk about that. But everyone's posting about it already, so I already know how to end. I think that's another reason too that I'm not really running to it, because I've already seen images from the finale, and that's all I'm gonna say. If you haven't seen it yet, avoid social media like the plague if you care about spoilers, because I know how it ends, which sucks. But yeah, that's all I'll say. That's all I'm gonna say. But I have not checked it out yet. I wanted to cover this final season, but I just never really got. No one really cared about my opinion of The Boys. I guess I don't know. I guess superheroes and me don't really mesh. But Peyton, I really do agree. Thank you for the 5. Thank you for the support. And I will get on that eventually. I do want to watch it. There's so many people involved with that show that I love so much too. I do want to watch it at some point. Michael is saying Scream 7 gets a lot of hate. I even took a break from horror YouTube for a bit because of my disappointment, but after rewatching it at home, I kind of love it. Jessica rules. I wish I felt that way, Michael. You know, I wish I liked it more, but Scream 7 is the epitome of, Scream 7 is the epitome of everything wrong with franchise continuations these days, in my opinion. And I'm sorry I feel that way, but that's just how it is. There's so many things that I don't like about filmmaking nowadays that, you know, just kind of hopping off of that superhero conversation that I feel like is now permeated into the Scream franchise. And Scream, I mean, what is this franchise known for? It's known for, you know, kind of taking a looking glass, a magnifying glass at the state of horror and saying like, well, this is silly. You know, why are we doing this? We're going to do this instead. I mean, that original Scream, it's what put this franchise on the map. I promise you it would not be this, you know, gargantuan horror franchise that it is now, without what that original movie did, you know. And for Scream 7 to be so milquetoast, to be so by the numbers, to be something that is just so like everything else in the space, it's just crazy disappointing. Scream is the last franchise that should get that treatment, and I know that some franchises, you know, eventually you're just gonna get that popcorn movie where whatever was so great about the original, you're gonna lose that by entry number 7. But Scream is a franchise where like you just can't do that, you know. I feel Scream is such a unique franchise in that sense that I think I would rather the franchise just stop making continuations than to get into this point where it's just another slasher film, because that's just not what Ghostface is. That's just not what Scream represents. I have a million problems with it, but in just in a general sense, that's what I don't love about Scream 7. It's way too much like everything else and doing it significantly worse than everyone else too. That's like the opposite of what I loved so much about Scream 96. That's why it's one of my favorite horror films. So for Scream 7 to be so the opposite, so in the other direction of that original movie, is it even a Scream film? I would argue. I don't know, man. The apple has fallen very far from the tree with Scream 7, in my opinion. But I'm glad you liked it. I need more than just a mindless popcorn slasher from Scream of all franchises. I mean, that's just crazy talk, in my humble opinion. Sean Woodcock's hanging out with us saying, dude, how have you been enjoying Dexter? Sean, I just recorded, like literally right before this, I just recorded a new episode. And like, I'm blown away. Dude, everyone was saying, oh dude, season 1's great, and then it dips, and then season 4 is good again. Y'all are wrong. Like, I love and respect all of you so much. Thank you for being with us. But dude, Dexter season 2 might be even better than season 1. I am loving season 2. Loving it, dude. The stakes are higher than ever. Something crazy happens in episode 7. And if you're watching it for the first time with me, I'll shut the fuck up. But wow, dude, like I'm loving Dexter. Dexter is just so good. Please watch the videos. I think it's one of my favorite things I'm doing on this page right now, is going through that series. It has been such a blast. And my God, I mean, I'm so glad I picked this show. I'm so glad I picked a show that I genuinely really love. I was so worried, like putting all the chips on Dexter, that I wasn't gonna love it. But dude, every episode, I'm falling in love with this show even more. So I'm so excited for you guys to see my reaction, especially to the one I just filmed, because man, I mean, that might be my new favorite episode of the whole show. It gets crazy in episode 7, dude. Oh, and I'm talking about a show that is like, that's almost 20 years old, but Dexter is so good. Dexter is so good. How have I never seen this show? It's crazy, man. I'm so glad you guys pushed me to watch this show, and I hope y'all are enjoying the videos because I'm having a really good time making them. Man. All right, anyways, let's get back to it. Peter saying, not gonna lie, I saw Passenger. It was really good, but of course, not gonna say anything about it. Peter, so, you know, our typical rule around here is we give it like 2 weeks for new releases, and then we'll talk spoilers. You know, you got 2 weeks, 2 weekends to go check it out, and then, you know, spoilers are kind of on the table. So Obsession spoilers, by the way, you know, sadly are on the table now. That's the rule of thumb that we've always followed around here, and I like another thing I like to remind everybody. So you might see some Obsession spoilers tonight. I have made it very clear to everybody that would be cool. You know, so go see it if you haven't seen it. Obsession totally rocks, and it's just a killer little horror flick, man, if you haven't seen it. So, and Gathering Leaves, yeah, we can talk spoilers for it. I know not everyone's going to be happy about that, but that is typically the rule of thumb on this page. Is that after 2 weeks, you know, we can talk about it. But yes, Gathering Leaves, by the way, thanks for being with us. Thank you for being a channel member. You're also saying that John Cassier also voiced Bugs Bunny in the last season of Tiny Toon Adventures. That's awesome. I actually looked him up a little bit because I was curious what else he had done, and he's like been in some other movies and whatnot, voiced some other characters. I think that's dope, dude. So good for him. I'm just loving Tales from the Crypt right now. I am absolutely going to do some sort of big video on it. I don't know what yet, but something, because I'm in love with this show. Like, this show kicks total ass, man. It is right on my alley. Lainey D is saying, I'm so scared my mom was rushed to the hospital yesterday. Oh my God, Lainey, I'm so sorry. That's terrible. Wishing your mom nothing but love and good health. Hopefully everything's good. Give us an update if you can. Hopefully nothing but good vibes and love over there. So sorry about that, my friend. Gathering Leaves is saying, I'm going to try to see Backrooms on Saturday. Definitely check it out. This is one you don't want to miss, love it or hate it, if you're into liminal space or not. I think this is definitely going to be a big one that a lot of people are going to be talking about. So, you know, see it, form your own opinion. I think that's going to be fun, right? Coraline is saying, imagine if Evil Dead Wrath followed Ellie and Cassie. If so, where do you think it would go? You know, that's actually not even out of the question anymore. I remember, you know, I got a question about that. I want to say like a couple of months ago. Someone was like, Jake, do you think Evil Dead Burn is going to pick up where Rise left off? And you know, at the time I was thinking to myself, well, no, probably not, because, you know, Evil Dead Rise and Evil Dead 2013 were both in and of themselves like just these contained little stories. And, you know, interestingly enough, too, if you go back to the original Evil Dead trilogy, like, this is, and hear me out on this, all three of those movies are kind of contained stories too. Yes, they follow Ash, sort of, but every single one of those movies, Evil Dead 2, and Army of Darkness, they start off with some sort of like retelling of what happened in the previous film, but it's different every single time. That is the funniest, like technically there is no Evil Dead film that continues from what came before, technically. If you don't count the series, of course. But technically, we've always changed something about the previous installment to get to where the next one's going. Evil Dead 2 does that very famously, where it's kind of just like Ash and his girlfriend at the cabin in the first Evil Dead, and then we pick up, you know, later. And then the same thing kind of happens in Army of Darkness, where like we briefly get a cabin sequence there, and it's like, that is not what happened in Evil Dead 2, bro. That is not what happened there at all. That's crazy. So, you know, will the franchise break that mold and, you know, do stories that run into each other moving forward? I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility at all based on what we're seeing in Evil Dead Burn. And, you know, getting back into this conversation of franchises all kind of meshing together and doing similar things, I guess I don't mind it for Evil Dead Burn doing like a larger, more grandiose kind of story like this. Only because technically the Evil Dead franchise really hasn't done that before. I feel like Burn is going to fall into a similar situation as what's it called? Final Destination Bloodlines, where we're doing something that is kind of tropey right now, but technically Final Destination has never really done that. And what I mean in terms of Bloodlines is we're following a family, you know, and I feel like so many movies nowadays are like, it's all about family, you know, Fast and Furious probably being the most, the most popular example. But Final Destination killed it with that, and it felt so fresh for that specific franchise. Evil Dead Burn, I think, is in a very similar and unique spot where it's gonna be a hit, because even though it is kind of falling into tropes of what all the other movies are kind of doing right now, making something more grandiose that connects everything together, right? Evil Dead really hasn't done that before. Evil Dead really hasn't told a story that was that large or greater, you know, bigger, larger than life. It could totally fall flat, and it could end up being a movie that just feels like everything else, and I really hope that's not the case, because in my opinion, Evil Dead is like the most consistent horror franchise ever. 5 movies that kick total ass, and a TV series with no bad fucking episodes, dude. 3 excellent seasons that definitely differ in quality, but man, all 3 seasons of that show are kick ass. There's no bad Evil Dead thing. I mean, everything Evil Dead I think is great. So I would hate for 6 to break that. I don't think it is, though. I'm loving the trailer, and I'm really excited for Wrath as well. Wrath, I think, might even go deeper into this whole idea of connecting storylines. So I think we're definitely gonna see elements of that in play for Burn and Wrath. So I could see characters coming back. I could see, you know, in some capacity, maybe seeing Ash again, fingers crossed, if Bruce Campbell is down. I hope, but who knows? Anything is possible for the future, and I'm really excited to see where it goes. Ray Thomas is saying, hi all, what did I miss? We're just talking some Evil Dead. We're talking a bunch of crazy franchise stuff. It's a lot of fun. We got JJ Allen throwing $2 out there. Thank you for the support. Really appreciate you. JJ, I have been wanting to watch this show so bad. You're talking about Widow's Bay. Have you heard of Widow's Bay? Good show. I've heard very good things about it, and I have not actually sat down and watched it yet. But, you know, it's an Apple TV original, and dude, I got Apple TV maybe like almost a year ago now, sometime last fall, and I was just like binging a ton of different Apple TV shows I had never seen before. There's a lot of good stuff over there. So I got to sit down and watch this, and I think I'm going to do a review. I have a review coming out tomorrow for a more obscure horror flick that I don't think many people have seen, but I just want to cover it anyways. So I'm gonna start covering some more weirder stuff on the page, getting out some shorter reviews on these things. But Widow's Bay is absolutely something I want to watch. After this week, things are going to slow down for me significantly. But we're about to shoot some things, and we're about to do a film shoot this week on a secret project. But after that, I'm going to take a little break, watch some TV shows, get some rest in. And Widow's Bay is absolutely on the docket. That is 100% something I want to watch. So I'm going to check it out as soon as possible. I've heard nothing but good things about it, JJ. So 100% you will see a review on that at some point in the coming weeks here. We'll get into that soon. But JJ, thank you for the $2, and thank you for the recommendation, because I got to get on that. I got to make that happen. Got to see what this is all about. Thank you for the support, though. Who else is with us? We got Chaotic Vibes saying, no hate, just wasn't for me. Hope Scream can recover after a wait. Talking about Scream 7. That's why I never liked Scream like that. Really seen the first 2, though. Really only seen the first 2, though. You know, I think... I really think that there's a lot of great movies in that catalog. I think that the Scream movies are a ton of fun. But I don't think any of the sequels hit that same high that the original does, though, is what I'll say about Scream. And it's an impossible Herculean task. I mean, what the original Scream movie did is so impressive and so fucking cool. It's such a one of a kind. It's a really hard thing to strike again. So what I'll say is that if you like the first movie, check out the sequels. You know, if the first movie really wasn't for you, then that's totally fine. But I think the sequels are a lot of fun, and the only one that I strongly dislike is really 7. I think the rest of them do a really good job at upholding at least something about the franchise that's really good. I don't know if any of them really hit the same, like, holy shit, everything about this works like the original does, but all the Scream movies, I think, in a way, have something kind of fun to them. Even Scream 7, I'll give something to the film, has some really great kills, and those are really enjoyable to watch. I think truly the best scene of the entire film is McKenna Grace. She gets a crazy death scene that is a lot of fun. So I'll give Scream 7 that. I really just dislike the film for what it does to the franchise, but it does have some fun little turn your brain off and just have fun with this kind of moments to it. So at least there's that. Necro is hanging out with us saying, new Dexter episode. I know what I'm doing after this. I just recorded it, so I'm editing it right now, and hopefully it should be up tomorrow. I'm trying to get ahead on it because the next Thursday through Monday, pretty much, I am going to just be completely busy. And sadly, you guys aren't going to see a whole lot on this page through that time. But I promise you it's going to be worth it. We're making some really fun stuff that you will see up on YouTube soon. So stuff is coming. Dude, I'm stoked for you, says Sean. I really enjoy your recaps. The first 4 seasons are TV gold. After that, it's a slow decline, but still lots of greatness. I hear that quite a bit. I see, now I don't know, though, because a lot of people were telling me that seasons 2 and 3 are whatever, and then season 4 is like really good again. And I'm like, I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. I haven't seen all of season 2 yet, but like where I'm sitting, I think I like Dexter season 2 even more than season 1. And maybe that's just because it's like really heating up. You know, things are really getting crazy with his whole situation, and we're learning more about the character. We're deepening that. And I love that about a good TV show, when you can give us more shades to a character than what we already know. There's this great like mystery box thing happening where like this whole background is really mysterious and there's more to it than what it seems. I don't know. I'm kind of loving season 2. So far, I mean, unless they fuck up the ending or something, I don't know. Don't tell me. But season 2 so far, I think I'm already liking it better than season 1. Crazy take, I know, but it's a little more like we're wearing our mystery on our sleeve. Like I feel like there's things about it that are a little more obvious than season 1, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. I'm not going to talk about Dexter this whole stream. I'm sorry, but dude, it's good. Season 2 is good. I'm really liking it. Oh man. Crazy shit. Okay, so Chaotic Vibes is saying it's a foreign film called The Passengers that I saw and I believe came out recently. Really good horror. Is that the one with Kyle Gallner? I feel like I've heard of that, but I haven't actually sat down and watched it. Heard some good stuff, though, if that's what you're talking about. Man, I got to scroll through the chat. I'm sorry, fellas. I got to catch up because I am behind. Erica Stabs for likes is throwing $2 out there. Thank you for the support, Erica. Saying 46 viewers and only 28 likes. What is going on here? Go ahead, hit the like button, fellas. Go ahead and do it. Then we can get some more crazy horror fans in here to talk some crazy movies. And I love all that shit. I'm all about that. Collarbone's got to get going because he doesn't want to get spoiled. Yeah, I'm so sorry. That has always been the rule around here. Just for the record, when movies are 2 weeks 2 weeks old, then we talk spoilers for things. So that's just always going to be the case moving forward. Always been the rule since day one of the streams. So just I should put that somewhere, maybe in like the about section of this page, just so people know. But go see Obsession though in theaters. You don't wait for this one to come to streaming. That's another thing. Can I go on a little rant about this? They want to put this out like on streaming in like a week or something like that. Dude, don't miss this one. Please, I'm telling you, do not miss this one in theaters. This is horror history we are witnessing right now. I think we're currently looking at a change of how the studio system works. And if you care about that, if you're a nerd about that, like how I am, trust me, go see it, dude. See this one in the theaters. Love it or hate it, I think you're going to see that this movie's doing some different things. And that's pretty cool. That's a pretty cool thing, man. Necro saying that Widow Bay goes hard. Watched it at the same time as From. Makes me feel spoiled. I saw the first episode of From, and I haven't finished it. But man, really solid start to a franchise. Really vibing with it. Yo, Josh Petrino's hanging out with us, dude. What's up, man? How we doing? Amy want raindrop drink. I got the raindrop drink right here, baby. If you don't know, and if you're new here, like our friend Peter, by the way, hello Peter again. How we doing? I will say, we love horror, and we mostly talk about horror, but one of the best movies, one of the best underrated movies of all time is, of course, Congo from the mid-90s. And frankly, this will always be a Congo fan page. And I really want you all to stop eating my sesame cake. That is for Josh and maybe no one else in the chat, but that's okay. See Obsession, see Congo. That's the point here. See it. Am I spoiling Obsession? Yes, but like it's been 2 weeks. It's been 2 weeks, fellas. I know we're all busy. I know we got jobs, but go see this thing, man. It's great. You haven't had time to see it? Josh, bro, what? I'm buying you a ticket. I'll buy you a ticket. Like, Josh, that's how serious I am about this, man. I appreciate the support. Thank you for the 5. If you got to go, it's all good. But, dude, okay, maybe we're not talking Obsession spoilers. I think we're going to have to kick everybody out. But see this movie, guys. Oh, man. I'm begging you. I'm begging you. I'm begging y'all to see it. It's so good. Hope you don't burn yourself out, man. You know, Stefan, I'm a busy boy. I'm a busy bee. I got to be moving. I got to be moving. I got to be doing stuff. Don't be afraid to ever take a short break if you need one. In this economy, absolutely not. Some of us are too busy working on other horror movies. Hey, you know what? Fair enough, Josh. And that's pretty fucking cool of you, man. That is dope as fuck. I know what you're working on. And you know, I'll just throw this out there, man. You know, keep me updated. Keep me updated on if you need any help with stuff. I know that you're working on your own projects, and I won't say any more than that. But let me know. I'm just hanging around doing my thing, man. Hanging around doing my thing. I love horror movies. What can I say? Jake, what would your outline be for Scream 8 if you were contacted to be the next big YouTube filmmaker? I wouldn't work on Scream 8. I'm telling you that right now. I'm so sorry. I love Scream and I love the franchise to death. I don't know if I would want to be attached to it in its current situation. But if we were in a perfect world where Scream didn't have a whole lot of toxic drama attached to it right now, I would make a Scream film that started from scratch. And honestly, I feel like that's the best case for Scream 8, but I highly doubt that's going to be the case. You know, I think some people think I've got some sort of vendetta against the legacy characters. I don't. But I hate that we're bringing back Sidney Prescott and Gale Weathers literally for nothing else outside of nostalgia, just to be like, hey, your favorite characters are in this movie. You know, we had Nancy in the last movie, we had Stu in the last movie, and why? You know, was that the best performance from those actors ever in a movie? Not even close. I wouldn't even say it was second. I wouldn't even say it was third. You know, why are we bringing back these actors if we're not giving them anything to do? The only reason they're coming back is to put butts in seats, frankly. It's nostalgia bait, man, and it sucks. It's a waste of great talent. You're giving these people who are so talented nothing to do. That's a waste of my time, frankly. That's clickbait and a waste of my time. I hate that shit. What I would rather see Scream do is give a chance to some up and comers who are really talented and deserve a role where they can actually really showcase a lot of their shit, where they do stuff and make things happen, give us roles and performances that are unforgettable. However you guys feel about some of the later Scream sequels, I think, you know, Screams 5 and 6 absolutely made a star out of Melissa Barrera, who's absolutely killing it right now. Scream 4 made a star out of Emma Roberts. I mean, she's been in all kinds of horror stuff, and I feel like that really stems back to Scream 4. So a lot of these sequels have made stars out of these, you know, great up-and-comers because they gave some sort of really interesting performance that was either talked about one way or the other or whatever the case was. Fucking Mikey Madison, dude, got the job for Enora because of Scream 5, dude, because of her crazy performance in that flick. You know, whatever. I don't know, man. Whenever people are like Scream 5 and 6 were 0 out of 10s, I'm just like, man, like I respect it. I respect the opinion, but I'm just like, man, like these movies led to some other crazy things happening in the world of film. You know, we can't just ignore them. We can't just say that they fell to the wayside. I mean, these are kind of important flicks, I feel. These are important flicks to talk about in the franchise and also just the state of film in general, you know? Mikey Madison, I personally had never heard of her before Scream 5. And I was introduced to her in that flick and I'm like, who is this? She's so good. She is so good in this. And then she, you know, wins an Academy Award for like basically her next big project. That's awesome. Oh my God, that's fucking crazy. That kind of happened because of Scream, man. And I think that's dope as fuck. To me, like I'm a dork. I love shit like that. I love hearing about shit like that. And you know, for the director of Enora to say like, dude, I saw her in Scream 5 and I'm like, I gotta work with her. You know, this chick is crazy talented. That's so cool to me. Like that's the coolest shit. I love when shit like that happens. So I don't know. I think, you know, I think for me personally, I love that these sequels have kind of made a star out of certain people and have given some people these opportunities to have these awesome performances. But, you know, something like Neve Campbell in Scream 7 or Courtney Cox, like, you're just not giving them anything to do. You're bringing them back simply for the purpose of, we know the fans like these characters, and if they're in the movie, they're going to show up for them. And I just feel like if you're going to write something new for them, you got to give them something good to do. And I think that at this point, there's a lot of fans that feel cheated by having these characters involved. You know, they're not gonna come. If Scream 8 is another Sydney focused movie about her daughter and the family and all that, I don't think people are gonna be as hyped about that as they were moving into Scream 7 now that 7 exists. So I think the best path forward is to just kind of blow the whole thing up. Start from scratch, brand new set of characters that are in a new location, maybe not high school characters. Can we do, like, let's just start at college or start somewhere else that the franchise hasn't been to lately? Just a different place, a different area, a different space to lend itself to some different kinds of characters. That's what I really think Scream 8 needs more than anything. Get us some really impressive young actors and actresses who can give some fun performances. Give us some up and coming writing and, you know, a writing directing team that maybe isn't like the obvious choice, but that's okay. Like, I just feel like we need some fresh blood, man. We need Scream to do something different. And the closest thing we've gotten to that is maybe some shades of Scream 6, where we've been able to do some different things with the overall formula. But even that isn't the kind of step I want the franchise to take. I want the franchise to take some radical steps forward, do some things differently than like what we've ever done before in the past. Because even though Scream 6, I do oftentimes champion it for doing some things differently, I feel like it definitely could have went farther. It definitely could have done even more on top of that. But it was those little elements, those little sprinkles on that cupcake that kept me invested. And I hope that it's more than sprinkles, it's more than just frosting, it's the whole damn cake that's a different flavor this time around moving into part 8. But I don't think, I'm a little more pessimistic about Scream after 7, so who knows? Michael, I did see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but I'm going to be completely real with you. I did not know Mikey Madsen from that role. Isn't it, it's Margaret Qualley, however you pronounce her last name. I feel like she was the one that really stood out to me in that movie. Not that Mikey Madsen didn't, but I remember after that movie, I was like, oh my God, like, dude, she was crazy. She was awesome. But I feel like Scream 5 was like that was like the performance from Mikey Madsen that I feel like was really like the big standout. Like she got to be the killer. She got to be Ghostface. I mean, that's a huge deal. That to me was like a really big breakout role for her in my opinion over that film where I feel like she's a much smaller part of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. A very fiery part though, if you catch my drift. But definitely, I feel like she definitely had a bigger role in Scream 5. I will riot if Indy Navarrete does not get nominated for an Oscar. Dude, seriously though, dude, for real, she better get nominated at the very least. Be crazy talk otherwise. Stopping in for one more message. Confirmed going to see Obsession Saturday. Not going to be in streams till then to avoid spoilers. Well, this is going to be one of the last streams of the month. We're doing one more stream tomorrow. I'm going to be joined by my friend Anthony for one last bracket stream to kind of close out the month. And then we won't be live again until June 1st. So just because I'm going to be filming and shooting some stuff, I'm going to be busy. Won't have time for streams, sadly. But we will be back next Monday for a Lethal Collective stream, which is going to be fun. But schedule moving forward is tomorrow night. We're doing a big bracket on franchise continuations that we love. What's going to come out on top as our favorite? Well, that's yet to be seen, but I'm going to be joined by my friend Anthony, Child of the Corn. We're going to be talking about franchise continuations we love, doing a little bracket to whittle them down to just 1 out of 16. So which one's going to be the best? I don't know. I'm not sure yet. If you're watching this on replay, by the way, let us know if there's any movie you want to see on there. Again, a franchise continuation from like the modern age. So let's say 2000 to now. Let's say that. That's kind of what we're looking at. So that's a lot of movies. That's a lot of movies still to talk about. A lot of good stuff. Magnificent Logo saying, Jake, how many Scream movies do you think there will be? They're going to keep making these things. They're going to keep milking this cow until no more milk's coming out, I think. But I'm almost at the point where I think they should just stop. Because I worry that they're damaging the legacy of Scream at this point. But I don't think they're going to anytime soon. Not while they're still making money. So really, it just depends on what happens with Scream 8. Yes. Huh? Oh, you burped. Okay. Thank you for that. We all appreciate it. I saw it happen before you even did it. You always make everyone makes a face before they sneeze, you know? I saw it happen before it happened. That was too funny. I predicted the future in my brain. That was a good sneeze. Yeah.
I wonder how
it caught. It caught on there.
Do you think it was in the red?
I think if you sneezed like right here, yeah, the mic would just kind of explode.
I think it would cut out.
It would.
I think it would cut out.
It would just cut out, man.
Yeah.
Oh, that's brutal. That's brutal right there. Yo, Robbie and the Cats saying, hey, play is over and I made it tonight. Glad you're with us. Thank you. Thank you.
Correct.
Madison burp counter 3 to 4 times in one stream. Yes. Is that your girlfriend? This is my fiance. Don't mean to be in your business. No, it's all good. Yeah, that's that's my fiance. You know, she burps a lot, and that's why I put a ring on it, baby. That's what's up. Erica's saying she heard that sneeze. Hell yeah.
The sneeze or the burp?
We got a couple of burps in there, and we got a sneeze. So I mean, that to me is like that's a tip.
That's gold.
That's gold. Now, if we get a fart, we'll really be talking. Yurdy G saying, what up, my motherfucking bro? How we doing, dude? And that's 5. I've got an Exorcist-style track I'm cooking up, but Scream 8, I wish we had Fede Alvarez as a writer. Shit, I do too. That would be awesome. Are you okay? You're holding your stomach, you're panting? Like you're like, oh, God. Oh, it hurts.
I'm lighter.
Stefan saying, Madison burps, Jake, will you marry me? That's basically how it happened, yeah. That's that's precisely how it happened. Chaotic Vibes is saying, congratulations, I can't wait to marry my longtime girlfriend. Hey, there we go. Rock and roll, baby. I love the love. I love the love. Some good stuff there. Talking about Fede Alvarez, I mean, yeah, the guy's a master at continuing franchises. Evil Dead 2013 and Alien Romulus, at least for me, in both cases, 2 of the very best sequels. That's some high praise, man. Those are 2 great franchises that Fede has just absolutely killed it in both cases. I can't wait to see what he does next. I'm always down. I almost just kind of want to. I just want to see him continue franchises. Is that crazy? I love the Don't Breathe movies. Those are fun. I think Don't Breathe 2, I weirdly kind of like it. It's fucked up, but it's interesting to me. It's an interesting angle to take the franchise. Don't Breathe, I'm spiraling. Don't Breathe, cool movies, but like his franchise continuations I just think are great. I just really like them. So I really want to see I kind of want to see what else he does. You know, I think he's always cooking when it comes to continuing franchises. I think he knows how to hit on all the best elements of a series while doing his own thing. And that's like, I've seen a lot of people call him like, oh, he just kind of copies all the great stuff from previous movies, you know? And it's like, okay, but he finds ways to tell new stories through that. You know what I mean? That's what I love so much about it. Like Alien Romulus, very fresh story for that series. But it does capture some Alien Isolation vibes. It does capture some vibes, I think, from like the original Alien. It focuses on like some weirder parts to that franchise. Like I would almost argue the facehuggers are a bigger threat in Romulus than the xenomorphs. And I appreciate that as someone who is equally terrified of both of those things. Fede Alvarez kicks ass, man. He gets it. He gets how to kind of make a franchise still feel fresh even later on down the line. And I think that's dope. So if anyone should continue Scream, yeah, I mean, 100%. He would give it a new flavor, give it something new to do. Erica, thanks for the 2. Really appreciate the support. Had to get you to at least half. Something's going on with YouTube because it's not counting the super chat goals. I don't know what's going on. Last 2 streams it's been that way. So apologies, folks. I don't know what's going on with all that crazy shit. It's no fun. But Erica, I do appreciate the support. Thank you so much. Thank you for being with us tonight as well. Really does mean a lot. You're always modding, keeping the chat safe from any weirdos. So we appreciate that. Stefan is asking, wasn't it confirmed he's at least writing the Alien Romulus sequel? It sounds like he's still going to be involved, just not like that much creatively. I don't think he's going to be a writer-director. Sounds like he's just going to be producing, like from the sidelines kind of element. But we did get confirmation that Michael Sarnowski is going to be directing, likely writing and directing. He's done a couple of really interesting flicks that I've really enjoyed personally. He made my favorite Quiet Place movie, A Quiet Place Day One, which I think is severely underrated. I'm not going to lie, Quiet Place Part 2, you know, I saw that movie and I'm like, this wasn't bad, but like, I just feel like A Quiet Place, like, I feel like when I saw that movie, I'm like, okay, Quiet Place was kind of a fad, you know, it was kind of a flash in the pan. That first movie was cool, but now the second movie is kind of just, it's hitting on the same things and not doing it as well. Not really anything new here. I moved on. Day One came out though, and I'm like, well, shit, you know? Okay, yeah, I'm back on board. I'm back on board the Quiet Place train because that really worked for me. That felt like it hit on what I love so much about the original, but again, doing it in a different way. We saw these emotional elements to it that was great. You know, I think Lupita Nyong'o as well as Joseph Quinn, just some great performances there. Finding some actors who, you know, are amazing but maybe don't get roles like that. And giving them something different to do. Again, I think that's what I love so much about a great franchise continuation like that. And that movie just really, really struck it on the head, gave us some substance, while also giving us a really fun and brutal movie, dude. I also love that the Quiet Place movies always draw a great star-studded cast. You know, that's really special for a horror franchise, I feel. There's so many different people attached to this series. And Quiet Place Part 3, you know, it's no different. John Krasinski is directing again, and I don't know how I feel about that after 2, but I'm still excited for Part 3. I think it's going to be fun. I don't know. Michael Sarnowski fucking knocked Day One out of the park. I worry that Part 3, I don't know. We'll see. I don't want to naysay it yet because we really don't know too much about it. It sounds like it's going to be some sort of globe-trotting plot, which is, again, different from where we came before. And a lot of my problems with Part 2 is it was just trying to do what 1 did, but to a lesser effective rate. So I can't really knock Part 3 for trying something different. Let's see where it goes. Let's see what it does. And hopefully it rocks. But definitely maybe not as excited about Part 3 as I was kind of leaving the theater for Day One. I was really hyped up over Quiet Place over that. You couldn't keep me quiet in the place. On the one day. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. Let's get back to it. Oh, dude. Chaotic Vibes. Yes. Jaimin Hansu, dude, in fucking Day One and Quiet Place Part 2. I think he's even better in Day One. Oh, man. Crazy underrated actor. Does not get enough love. Dude is so good. He's in like everything too, and no one talks about this actor. I'm so with you, Chaotic Vibes. Yes. Yes. Please throw more love at this dude. He does not get enough of it. Broken Cowl is saying, what's up, Jake? And hello to the chat. What's up, Broken Cowl? How we doing? Thank you for being a channel member. Thanks for being with us. Let us know what horror thing you're excited for. Jake, we're going to the store to get ice cream flavor options. I'm a mint chocolate chip guy. Call me crazy, but mint chocolate chip, that's the best flavor all day, every day. I have been getting like caramel ice cream lately, though. That's been my vibe. That's been my go-to, but majority of my life, mint chocolate chips, always been my favorite. Jake, dinner is 2 Food City deli ham and cheese sandwiches with a 50-gram chocolate banana shamrock protein shake, baby. What do you think? I think you're bulking, bro, and I love it. That's kick ass. Are you go to the gym? You pump? Let me know. Jason, thanks for being a channel member, dude. Jake, sorry about the Cavs, man. Yeah, dude. 0-4 to the Knicks. It's brutal, dude. It's what happens. It's what happens. I'm happy for New York, you know? Cool. I thought Passenger was just enough to be passable, some generic, but it killed 90 minutes for me when it was pouring down rain. I think that's a great way to look at it. I left the theater and I'm like, I'm not mad at this movie at all. I have no animosity towards it, but it was kind of just fine. And I think I was almost a little let down based on how strong the marketing was for the film. Big thoughts leaving the theater. And again, I won't really spoil it because if you've seen any marketing for it, I think you can kind of guess how the setup's going to go. I really wish it was just kind of a 90-minute movie about those dudes in the car getting chased by this entity that they didn't really know too much about, slowly learning more about it. That would have been way more interesting to me, I think. Had it just been about like a 90-minute quick, super fast-paced version of like these 2 dudes trying to survive this entity, that would have been way more interesting opposed to kind of falling into typical supernatural horror jump scare tropes, you know? And you know, the other thing about Passenger is I think it has the same problem as the original Smile, but like 10 times worse, where the coolest thing about your entity is not at all what's up front. You know, so many people were worried about the Backrooms movie that comes out this week, just kind of being this like way of delivering jump scares. A lot of people were worried about that a couple months ago when, you know, the initial marketing was coming out. Clearly, this movie isn't that based on more things we've learned across the last couple of months. But, you know, if we got to the theater and Backrooms was just a movie where this guy goes into liminal space and the main thing, you know, your main proponent of horror is monsters jumping out and scaring you, that would be a little disappointing when you have liminal space horror, which is such a fresh thing that hasn't really come to the film world too often. There's not too many liminal space horror flicks where there's a million jump scare movies, right? Passenger kind of falls into that same boat because, you know, the Passenger has some really interesting powers, but I don't feel like we ever really utilize that too much outside of a couple of scenes where I think it's dope as hell. So yeah, I don't know. It's kind of one of those things where I'm like, wish Passenger had focused on more of the cooler elements, and instead it kind of leaned into this more generic feel, which was a shame. But yeah, I didn't hate it. I had a good time with it. I can't say I hated it, but I think it could have been, it had the potential to be better. Let's say that. Stefan is saying mint ice cream, underrated as fuck. Hell yeah, dog. Favorite flavors of ice cream is mint chocolate chip and tiger. What's tiger tail? Wait, what the fuck? Because here in Ohio, we have Moose Tracks, which is like, you know, it's just like vanilla chocolate ice cream, whatever, with like, what is it, like peanut butter cups and all this bullshit in it. You know, it's just like a bunch of stuff and peanut butter and like, yeah, it's like peanut butter, chocolate, vanilla ice cream all mixed together with like chunks of stuff in it, chocolate chunks, sometimes little like peanut butter cups. It's great shit. What is Tiger Tail? Is that kind of something similar or I don't know. That's cool. Interesting. I love that. Derek likes cookies and cream, strawberry, mint Oreo. Mint Oreo. Fuck yeah. And strawberry ice cream goes hard too, man. That's an underrated flavor. Very underrated. I see you got no super chats tonight, Jake. That's rather unusual. No, I'm doing okay tonight. We're doing okay. It's just that counter. I don't know what's going on. It's just not working. You know, I just kind of want to. I'm just curious. Can we do some experimentation here? Experiment. I'm curious if I do it again, what happens? Like, can we just see what happens? Let's see. Okay, let's forget about that. We'll come back to it. I started another one. I just want to see if it ticks or not. We'll see what's up. Jason is saying, I might skip Backrooms and take a break until Scary Movie 6. Not sure yet. What I'll say about Backrooms, though, Jason, is I feel like this is one that a lot of people are going to be talking about. You know, I think that's kind of I feel like you don't want to miss it just for that reason alone, even if you're not as interested. You might not want to get this one spoiled. Might want to see this one before everyone starts talking about it on Twitter, because I think come Thursday night, spoilers everywhere. Just like how Obsession was literally the first day. So you might want to see this one sooner than later. That's what I'll say. Tiger Tail is like a Canadian thing. It's orange and black licorice. Ooh. So it's like orange flavored ice cream with black liquor. What? I feel to see, like, I'm a weirdo and I would like that. I like weird food combinations. I would totally be into that. Orange and black. I've never heard of that before, Robbie. That's dope as hell. Oh, dude, it's my mission to try that. Like, straight up. That's cool. So wait, hang on. Now I'm curious. Is it like black licorice chunks and orange ice cream? Because that, I've never even remotely heard of that before. That's super interesting. Oh, you got to give me an update on this. That sounds like that's crazy. I've never heard of that combination of flavors before. That's so interesting. Oh man. Okay. Erica's throwing $2 out there saying, what happens? Nothing, sadly. Okay, well, it's on YouTube's end then. It's not me being a weirdo and doing something weird. Okay. See, now we've learned, we've experimented. Erica, thank you for the support. You didn't have to do that, but I appreciate it. Okay, yeah, well, I'll look into it. It's probably dude. This happen. YouTube has little bugs every now and then. It'll happen. So we'll see. We'll see what's up with that. Broken Cowl is saying, the last live stream I was here for, you mentioned people kept glazing season 4 of Dexter and won't shut up about it. All I'll say is season 4 is the best villain, but it is not the best season. Oh, that's interesting as hell. I love that. Oh, Broken Cowl will say no more. Say no more. I can see how this show kind of revolves around a new character, which is really interesting to me. Like season 1 kind of did that. Season 2 is sort of doing that too. Say no more. I don't want to know anymore, but I'm definitely excited to see what happens. I am definitely excited to see where this goes and what happens next. Erica sent a gift. Thank you, Erica. I appreciate it. You sent a little high five. Hell yeah. High five, dude. Love it. Very good stuff. Very good stuff. Okay, Robbie's saying the licorice is kind of like liquid going through the. Okay, so it's kind of like Moose Tracks. Like if you're familiar with that, that's like again like a vanilla or a chocolate ice cream kind of mixed together, and it'll have like chocolate, like pieces of chocolate chunks. Sometimes like a Reese's peanut butter cup in there too. So this is like, okay, so it's like licorice, like liquid, like it's melted down through orange ice cream. So it looks like a tiger tail. Okay, I see what you're saying. That is so fascinating. YB, dude, you are cool as hell, dude. Thank you for sending a gift. Flow State, baby. Sent Flow State. Dude, thank you for that. I appreciate it. You got to reach Flow State. If you're not, what are you doing? What are you doing with your life? Love that, dude. Thank you. Thank you for the support. Austin Allman 1994 saying, Jake, have you ever seen the Killer Roach movie called The Nest on Tubi? I have 100% seen the Nest. I haven't seen the movie, but I've 100% seen that on Tubi. Like absolutely. Because I've scrolled past it and I'm like, that sounds kind of crazy, man. The Nest movie. Hang on. Scientists, a sheriff, exterminator, and an island mayor's daughter go on a hunt for mutant meat-eating cockroaches. I have 100% seen the poster for this. Yeah, because, this is the image. I wish I could... Can I show it to y'all? I don't know if I can show it to y'all. There's an image from this movie that I've seen that I'm like, that's the craziest looking thing, dude. What? I feel like I would love this movie. I got to sit down and watch this one. Oh, it's an hour and 29 minutes, too. Love the quick little 90-minute movie. Okay. The Nest, dude, I gotta watch this one. Y'all have been giving me so many great movies to watch. You're saying it's bonkers as fuck, and I loved it. Man, I gotta I wish I could just take a week. I wish I could just take a week to do nothing but watch some of these movies y'all recommend, because y'all recommend some good stuff. Every now and then I get a little 2-hour period where I got nothing going on, and I can sit back and watch something, and it's great. It's awesome. Sadly, I really don't get to watch as much movies nowadays unless I'm going to the theater to cover it or what the case is. But man, at some point I'm going to sit down and watch this one. I've had so I was talking earlier about watching Tales from the Crypt and I literally have had time to watch like one episode per night kind of thing. Like I watched the first episode. I'm like, that was so good, but I have to go to I'm falling asleep. I have to go to bed like right now. Like fast out, and like early this morning I watched another episode and I'm like, oh my god, this is so good. So dude, I've had like 30 minutes of time to myself like every day. Haven't had much else, sadly, but yeah, at some point I'm sitting down and I'm watching some good movies. Can you please review the horror movie Brave Little Toaster? That's the scariest movie I've ever seen. Sean Woodcock. Isn't there a Brave Little Toaster movie where they go to space? That's a thing. I didn't make that up. If I made that up, then I'm actually secretly in a padded room right now. But that's got to be a thing. Come on now. Robbie, you're saying, I'm not a huge black licorice fan, but I love Tiger Tail. That is oftentimes, you'll hear people say like black licorice, not crazy about that. Like that is a controversial thing to like, I feel like that's like a pineapple on pizza thing. It's like, oh, you like that? Like, whoa, I feel like not everyone likes that. But I love black licorice personally. I vibe with it. Like licorice in general, man. Give me all the flavors of the rainbow. Give me all the Twizzlers, man. I'll eat them all. I think I would love Tiger Tail though, because I love orange ice cream. I love orange flavored things, and I really like black licorice. So I think I'm gonna like this, Robbie. Thank you for bringing this to my attention, because this is such an interesting flavor combination that I've never heard of. King Olives, how we doing? Had a cool Gremlins 3 idea where it takes place in New York, but dealing with rainy, just think using the rain as a cool it's rainy in New York or something, and all the Mogwai out there. That would be a disaster. I love it. So I don't know if you know this or not, but Gremlins 3 is on the way. That is currently in production. They're making that happen. It's coming out, I believe, late. Is it late next year or late 2028? It's coming soon, within the next couple of years. And there's been a few little Gremlins updates here and there. Like Joe Dante recently screened like a version of the original Gremlins that featured like all the original footage, or not all of it, but like more of it. Essentially, it was like an elongated director's cut. Essentially, it doesn't have some sort of wide release yet. Hopefully, it does soon. But that was a really cool little update. We were hearing things about, you know, this new cut of the film that exists that has all this like crazy new footage or whatever. So I would love to see that one day. The original's so much fun, and the sequel is it's one of those movies that's just so bonkers you can't look away. Like you're kind of just like, I'm kind of enamored to this. This is so weird. I love it. Gremlins 2, it's a movie that clearly was written with a certain substance, a certain white powder in the room, but but that's not a bad thing necessarily. I can't say that on YouTube, but no, I really think I'm really excited for Gremlins 3. This is a super fun franchise, and I'm happy to see it continued. It's such a beloved series too. It's kind of shocking that we're only now getting a continuation after all this time. So, YB Coraline, I kind of love this. Have Scream 8 take place on summer break for middle school kids going into high school. Ooh. So like, you know, because like my thoughts on a Scream 8 would be, okay, maybe focus on like an older demographic. Like don't just do the high school thing again. We've done this a million times. But this is interesting. Give us like some younger kids dealing with the situation. That's really fucked up and really interesting, dude. There are some excellent horror movies with some younger actors who give some great performances, and they're rare, but when you get those movies, man, they're really special. There's this movie that's a remake of a foreign film, and I can't remember. Let the Right One In, I want to say, is the original, but the remake's still really good, dude. I think it's called Let Me In. Chloe Grace Moretz is the like kind of plays like the vampire in it, and I can't remember like the little kid's name, but dude, that is a really good movie with some young kids giving some excellent fucking performances. Cody Smith McPhee, I wonder what he's up to. Dylan Minette's in this movie. Oh my god, I gotta go back and watch this. Wait, what? Oh my, I gotta go back and watch this movie again, dude. Fucking Mike Wheeler's mom is in this. Oh shit, dude. I gotta watch this movie again. This is crazy. What a crazy cast. Crazy cast of characters, no way. But point being, this is a movie where you have these young kids just giving these excellent performances that are super emotional, but also super brutal at the same time. Just a really excellent little movie. You know, almost like maybe capturing a vibe like that, but in the world of Scream. Yeah, dude. Yeah, like I'm totally smelling what you're stepping in. I love that idea. Because Scream is always going to be something that I feel like the younger crowd is going to be drawn to. So to have like a younger cast, that's a great idea, dude. Like, dude, call up Spyglass and Paramount, get them on this shit. That is 100%, I feel like a great direction for Scream. For Misery Gaming is saying, hey, Jake, is the #1 Obsession Glazer? That is me. Did you see Obsession made box office history of how much more money it made going from week 1 to week 2 and is tracking to make 100 million plus? Yes, and I will be talking about it in the next update video. I just, the last time I had a chance to make an update video was Monday, and I just have not gotten around to doing another one. I'm trying to catch up on my Dexter series right now, so tomorrow, big update coming. So yeah, no, we got some stuff on the way. Got some videos to do tomorrow. New trailer for Camp Miasma. Can't remember the full trailer, the full name of the movie. Comes out tomorrow. I kind of want to do a big video on it because, man, that's a movie I'm really excited about, and I don't see a whole lot of people talking about it. So that's a movie that I really feel deserves a little more attention. Jane Schoenbrunn, I feel like, is a director who is, I really think after this movie comes out, and it's likely going to be a very big hit, she could be in the conversation for, wow, like one of the directors to really look out for whatever their next project is in the space of horror. I Saw the TV Glow. I thought that was a really just fucking genius little movie. So artistic, had such a confident style, which I don't see from a ton of movies these days. But 100% got to talk about that. Anyway, sorry, staying on topic. Yeah, dude, I mean, Obsession making more money in its second week. That is textbook word of mouth. And just an insane amount of it too. It's crazy impressive to me. I mean, the marketing was excellent for Obsession, don't get me wrong, but the reviews, I mean, have been like through the roof, overwhelmingly positive since its festival run. And that really has not stopped at all. The only people hating on this, I think, are really, the people who are crazy jealous online and just throwing out some insane takes about it. It seems like the majority of people love this movie, man. And I am so part of that crowd. I was hyped from some of the shit we were hearing about it. Don't get me wrong, but then I saw it and I'm like, well, I'm never going to shut up about that. That was awesome. I've seen it twice in the theater. I want to see it at least one more time if I can make the time to go out to the theater. I want to see this at least 3 times in theaters because, man, I'm telling you, the whole studio system is about to change, especially considering that Backrooms is about to make a fuck ton of money, man. And what we know, how we understand the movie industry, I feel like it's all going up. It's all going up and changing. And I think we're going to get a lot of different projects moving into the future. A lot more internet culture coming to the screen. That seems to be what's driving people to the theater, man. The studios are slowly picking up on that, I think. And Broken Cowl, love this from you, my friend. You're saying, yeah, I haven't heard a single negative comment about Obsession. I did hear there's a pretty big plot hole, though. Yes. No, there totally is. 100% is. And I don't care at all. It's still a masterpiece for what it is. So Curry Barker has even addressed this, has said, dude, there's a huge plot hole in the movie. And that's why it's going to be really tough to do any sort of continuation to it. I'm paraphrasing what he's saying, of course, but he essentially talked about how, if the One Wish Willow really existed in this universe, there would be like fucking dragons flying around the whole world. Like reality would crumble because people would just be making these wishes that would be insane. It would be way too much power for, just the public to wield for only $6.99, it would be chaos in the streets if this thing was real. But, how he kind of explained it, and he kind of goes back on this in the same interview, but I actually think it still works, is that he talks about, he's like, when people make the wish, they immediately kind of enter this alternate reality where, the wish can exist and no other wishes happen. But like how he talks about it is he's like, well, that doesn't make sense because then Ian, if I'm spoiling it, I said there were spoilers earlier, Ian wishes for $1 billion later in the film and that happens. He's like, well, that doesn't really work then. But couldn't in this alternate reality, if we're really going into like Inception obsession, that's a hard thing to say 5 times fast. When the One Wish Willow still exists in this alternate reality, that's what I would argue. I'd be like, well, I think that could still work. You're not like trapped in a prison with your wish. There's more to it than just that. At least I think. And I feel like that theory only works if your main character doesn't know they're in an alternate reality, or at least doesn't immediately know that. So I don't know. I feel like I feel like that could still work. I don't necessarily look at it as a plot hole. There's plenty of movies too where, whatever's going on ultimately ends up in a place where it's like, well, that couldn't really work in reality because of whatever reason. Great example of this is the movie Together from last year. Loved that movie to death, but also, if everyone was kind of morphing together like that, there's a lot of problems with that, especially with the way the movie actually ends. Like literally the final scene of the movie is like, I remember walking away from that movie and I'm like, they can never do anything else with that ever again because of the way that movie ended. But I'm okay with it. Like, that's totally fine. That's how that movie had to end. And I just feel like, sometimes when you work in the space of a metaphor, your world only has to look like reality. It doesn't have to perfectly fit into the real world. I also just feel like, Wes Craven made this really clear, made a great point about this. Like, the best horror movies don't take place in the real world. If they did, they would be really boring. Like my favorite movies do not take place in the real world. They kind of look like it though. And that's what I love about them. We get if you want stories that take place in the real world, watch the news. If you want some really fun, plots and storylines and crazy movies, then watch some fiction, baby. That's kind of how I look at it. I don't want perfect logic in a horror flick. Like, I feel like that's not as fun, at least for me. Fort Misery Gaming is saying, my only complaint, which isn't the movie's fault, is my theater had severe audio issues and certain positions were stupid loud for Obsession. Oh, certain points. Okay, I see what you're saying. They were like stupid loud. Oh, that's weird, man. That's terrible. I'm sorry. That sucks. I've heard some people say that they had some bad crowds during Obsession too. I've heard that from quite a few people, and that fucking blows, you know? Now you're always going to kind of associate that with that movie, you know? I got to see the Spider-Verse sequel like Thursday night when it released. I was like, honestly, there's not too much superhero stuff that I have fallen in love with, but those Spider-Verse movies are kick ass. Like easily some of my favorite stuff happening in the world of animation and superhero land. Love those movies so much. But dude, that was the worst theater experience I have ever had in my life. Like there was a bunch of kids and in like the front row, so they weren't even there to see the movie. Like they were just there to fuck around, and they all like I had to be a Karen, dude. Like our whole friend group was there. We all bought tickets to see this movie, and we literally like talked to an usher and we're like, dude, like these kids just won't shut up during this movie, and we got them kicked out. So I hated to be a Carl there, but dude, come on, don't go to a movie theater and just fuck around the whole time. Come on, man. Like that's crazy. That's some crazy shit right there, but nutty, man, nutty. Jason is saying, I kind of want to see it one more time too before Backrooms. I may do a double feature this Saturday. Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. Enjoy. I think those are going to be two of the best releases of the year. So I don't think you want to miss those. Truly, I think like this May, I think is like our October this year. These are some of the best. We're getting a lot of the best movies of the whole damn year right now, which is crazy to think about. Like horror is just thriving. Horror is thriving all over the place. It's nuts. Broken Cowl is saying, I've yet to see it as I'm recovering from spinal fusion surgery and money is tight right now. Was going to check it out when I had the means. Dude, definitely see it. Definitely see it when you can. And I'm so sorry about that, my friend. So much love to you, and wishing you nothing but good health. But see Obsession when you can. If you can make it out to the theater, I'm telling you, this is a good one. If you can, it's no big deal. Just see it when you can. But yeah, this is some horror history right here, man. Alpha Warlock makes a pretty good point too. Most people probably think that the wishes wouldn't work, so they wish for silly stuff. And that's a really good point too. You know, I feel like most people probably don't even realize it works, or whatever they wish for. You know, if they do end up wishing for something, it could be something silly, it could be something personal. You're probably like Bear's in a situation where he doesn't really tell anybody about the One Wish Willow until way later into the film, you know? So I think that's I think that's interesting. I think that's an interesting element to the movie too, that you can kind of look at the whole universe in the same light. In Obsession, I don't know why people say Sarah was a bad person. I honestly think she was the only good person and was worried Bear's relationship and her perspective. And that's why I was sad with what happened to her. Yeah, Sarah is probably the best character out of that entire friend group because they're all dicks. They're all jerks in their own rights. Nikki, maybe not so much. Nikki, I feel like we didn't really get to know Nikki too much before everything happened to her. We kind of learned things about her through other people. So it's like, are we 100%, you know? Are we 100% about who Nikki is? You know, what we got to see of her, she seemed like a pretty cool person. I actually really liked everything she, you know, the homeless man character, like that was really sweet. So I don't know. I feel like Nikki was like a really sweet but fiery individual, you know, had a little bit of sass to her, which made her kind of gave her some more character, you know. That was cool. That was a cool element of the character that I personally loved. But yeah, Sarah was just, I mean, she was just chilling, man. And then, you know, that is probably my favorite. That's probably my favorite scene in a horror film all year. That's number one. That is my number one scene in a movie just all year. I was elated watching that. I'm like, this is the cat's pajamas right here. This is why I love horror. For scenes like this is what I'm looking for. It was so perfectly set up. It was just so perfectly done. Man, what a shock too. It's one of those things where you're like, I know it's coming, but how is it going to happen? And you don't realize how far they're going to take it. Like, man, so good. I remember just like the shock of it initially hit me, and then I just kind of laid back in my seat like, psh, Curry Barker, you filthy dog, you done did it, baby. You done did it. Benny, what's going on, dude? What's up, Benny? How we doing? Thank you for the $2. Really appreciate the support. Yo, just dropping in because my friend showed me Final Destination art. Hell yeah. like Final Destination artwork or like a Final Destination version of Art the Clown? Because now I'm curious. And you know how curious I am. Curious like the cat. No, that's sick as fuck. I think you probably mean artwork. And I think that's dope as hell. Definitely excited for some Final Destination 7. Hopefully we get some more updates on that soon. They got to be shooting it this year, right? Haven't really looked too much into that. Been busy kind of covering all this other fun stuff, but definitely excited for more Final Destination updates. Cannot wait to see what they do with the next one. Man, Bloodlines was fun last year. I mean, certainly a standout, franchise continuation from this decade. So really excited to see what they do with that franchise next. And I just hope they keep the spirit of this series alive. I think, part 6 did such a great job at feeling like it picked up right where they left off. Like, I mean, if you told me Final Destination Bloodlines came out 2 years after the 5th one, I would have believed you if I didn't know any better. And that's really special. That's really special. But definitely excited for some more Final Destination 7 updates. We will be talking about it and covering all that crazy shit here. And I'm really excited for it. For Misery Gaming is saying, or Benny, thank you for the 2, though, again. Thank you for the support. Hang on, For Misery. Hang on. 2 seconds. Broken Cowl saying, appreciate that, man. I'm recovering well, and I'll be back to work in 6 weeks, but definitely appreciate the kind words. I can imagine, that's got to be tough, man, but, just keep your head up, stay strong, stay positive, man. You're healing right now, You got to take that time off, and you got to take the time to heal. It's just what it is. We're only human at the end of the day, man. So much love to you. Thanks for hanging with us. Thanks for talking horror, dude. And I hope wishing you nothing but a speedy recovery. For Misery Gaming is saying, hey, Jake, I got fantastic news. One of my home Regals is getting the multi-million-dollar refurb and is getting 4DX. Nice. It's getting formats. Have you seen a Regal, the RPX format? Is that like where they do the projections on the side? Because I saw that. I've seen that before, and that's dope as hell. I got to see that during when Twisters came out. And admittedly, it's I don't know if it's the greatest movie ever, but it is. That was a really fun experience to see that movie, in theaters with the 4DX screen and all the projections going all the way around you. Really puts you in the movie, and the chairs move and shit, dude. It's fun. It feels like you're on a ride, So I thought that was dope as hell. So I've done that before. I've done that once before. I definitely want to do it again because it was a lot of fun. But yeah, no, I think that would. I wish I would have seen Mortal Kombat or something that way, because that would have been really fun with Mortal Kombat 2, something along those lines. Like a movie like that is perfect for a theater experience similar to that. That would be dope. Stefan is saying, for real, Sarah was likable and got the gnarliest death. Yeah, I don't think Sarah sucked by any means. I thought she was pretty cool. She was definitely. I mean, I guess you can be upset with her for flirting around with Bear when he was with Nikki, I guess, but I think there's more terrible things going on in Obsession rather than that. You know what I mean? Come on now. People are selling Freaky Nikki shirts now. Dude, that's dope as hell. That's killer. She's a horror icon instantly, man. Benny is saying the artwork of a few characters, and not gonna lie, I can't stop laughing because we have Howard dressed up as Adam West Batman. And he's like, Batman is meant to be funny and goofy. I love it. I love that so much. That's killer, man. Adam West Batman is unironically one of my favorite Batmans, and I don't even care. Man, I love goofy Batman. I hope one day we bring that back. I'm digging Rob Pattinson, playing Batman. These movies are going to be great, I'm sure, but I hope one day we're just like, fuck it. Let's do silly Batman again. Who cares? I really hope we get to that point. I hope we get to that point where everyone's just kind of sick of how we're doing Batman, and we're like, you know what? We're doing silly Batman again. Fuck it. Camp Batman. Let's go. Broken Cowl is saying, I'm just happy Bloodlines was good and brought the franchise back. It had a bit too much CGI polish for my liking, but still a great movie. I don't disagree, but what I will say is Final Destination has a history of having some pretty awful CGI. And I mean, in comparison, Bloodlines is pretty, it's pretty good in comparison. There's a few kills that look a little wonky and cartoonish, but I'll take that over pretty much all of Final Destination 3 that looks the way it does, That's just my thoughts on it, at least. It's a step in the right direction. It's a step towards being a little more practical in camera, which is of course tougher to do, but would love to see some more practical and less CGI polish if possible. Austin is saying my one wish is for Jake to play Terror Drone. One day we'll do it, I promise. One day we'll make it happen. King Olives is saying, what's a cool One Wish Willow episode idea? For me, it's a kid wishes everyone can see his imaginary friend, but that goes terribly wrong. Ooh, I love that. Ooh, he wishes everyone could see. I would love to be in like a third person perspective here, where it's like we're not really in the kid's shoes. We can't see the imaginary friend until he makes the wish. That could be really fucking cool. And then when we see it, it's like, oh shit, that's scary as fuck. I mean, could you imagine like kid rolls up to kindergarten or something and like this gigantic meat monster's following him around and no one can do anything about it? That'd be a crazy situation, dude. If you were that kid, I mean, that'd be a terrifying. Oh man, there's so much horror you could generate from that. That's a good idea. I like that. He's like alienated by everybody because he's got this like monster following him around everywhere, maybe giving him some bad advice, fucking with his head a little bit. It takes on its own kind of entity, but it's like, it's not like no one can do anything about it because like maybe it's not really real. It's an imaginary friend, you like phase through it. It's like a ghost. That's a good idea, dude. That could be cool as hell. Big Briscoe is saying, what's up, girl? How we doing, girl? Welcome in. Michael Rue saying, Jake, update on the ice cream sitch, cookie dough with chocolate base. It's a great fucking combination right there, man. Nothing wrong with some cookie dough ice cream. Dude, there's this place called Mitchell's around here. Shout out to Mitchell's. They have this one, I don't know if it's like cookie dough or if it's like cookie dough with something else in it, but they have like little pieces of cookie dough in the ice cream and it just like, melts in your mouth kind of thing. So good. Shout out to Mitchell's, little Cleveland-based ice cream place. So good. No one knows what I'm talking about, but it's fine. Don't worry about it. For Misery Gaming saying, Regal Cinema's signature premium large format PLF auditorium designed to offer an upgraded immersive. You copy and pasted this from the website. What is this comment? To offer an upgraded immersive movie-going experience. It features massive screens, upgraded 3D, 4K, or HDR laser projection. Fuck, I haven't seen lasers. No, I haven't seen that. I have not done that. I've done the 4DX. That I have not done. Multi-dimensional surround sound and often specialized, extra comfortable luxury seating. RPX is Regal's direct competitor to other theater premium formats like AMC's Dolby Cinema or Cinemark's XD. While traditional IMAX is known for its massive tailored screens that use specific aspect ratios, RPX focuses heavily on an immersive premium audio and luxury seating experience. So are you like trying to get me to do an ad read right here? Like, when do I get my money, Regal? Okay? I know you're a double agent for Misery Gaming, and I'll read your lines, but I'd like to get paid for it. I'm just fucking with you. That's just really funny to me. Jake, what would you wish for? Well, I would actually wish for something, because I think in most be careful what you wish for scenarios, like the item is cursed and is going to find a way to kind of fuck with you a little bit, i.e. Wishmaster, typical monkey paw, Aladdin, kind of, in a way. But I feel like a lot of these like wishing stories, something goes wrong with it, like just inherently, like it's not from anything you did, you worded it wrong, and this thing was able to manipulate you. But I don't think the One Wish Willow necessarily does that. I think it's just you get a wish, you get to wish for something, and it happens. And Curry Barker kind of talks a little bit about that, about how the wish was cursed itself. You wished for someone to change fundamentally who they are, and that fucked with them so much to the point where it put a different entity inside Nikki's body, and that's really fascinating to me. So me personally, I would wish for $1 billion. I would wish for $1 billion. All of my problems would be solved, and I could like help end world hunger. That would be dope. That's what I would want to do personally. I would want to do that crazy shit. So I think, I personally think, the $1 billion is what I'm in for. we've seen that works. We've seen you just get the $1 billion. So like, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Coop is saying, I had a horror idea, kind of Michael Jackson inspired. Ooh. A star who has a bad burn or accident trying to get his appearance back with plastic surgery and wild makeup and would kill to get his old life. Dude, there's this book from a different Barker, Clive Barker, and I'm trying to remember the name of it. That's very similar setup to that. Oh, man, totally escaping me the name of this book, but I read it a long time ago. This is the Hellraiser. A Magica, yeah, A Magica is very similar to this, I think. Or is that the one? Wait, maybe it's not. Maybe I'm crazy. Oh, shit. See, now it's going to kill me. Clive Barker, facial reconstruction story. Is it Clive? Maybe it's not Clive Barker. I don't know. But is it Nightbreed? Is it Nightbreed? Am I literally that dumb that it's Nightbreed? Hang on. Let's just get back to the chat. But anyways, there is definitely a story just like that I just can't remember the name of. That I love. I think that's an interesting idea for a story for sure. King Olives is saying, I don't know Josh Rubin's plan for Hard Eyes 2, but it would be cool if he took place in a Love Island parody reality show and Hard Eyes kills the contestants one by one. Ooh, I like that. Kind of taking the whole, relationship angle a step up. Instead of just being a romantic comedy, it's like, well, here's like this love, TV series that's kind of based in the same thing, but is also super artificial. You can kind of have something new to say in a situation like that, and also a new backdrop to do it in. King Olives, you're throwing a lot of cool shit out there tonight. Let's get on a stream together. I like this. But yeah, no, I'm so into that. The only thing we really know about Hard Eyes 2 is that some of the cast members have been kind of tapped to come back. So we know that Mason Gooding and Olivia Holt, is that her name? Are both coming back to reprise their roles. But I like this way better. I think that would be dope as hell. Like just new Hard Eyes shows up somewhere else. It's a new person with the mask. New situation. I love that. Oliver Gordon is joining us. What's up, Oliver? How we doing? Yes, Horror Talk with Jake. Always look forward to this. Hell, thank you so much. I appreciate that so much. Saw Obsession last week. Backrooms this week. We're blessed. Horror fans do be eating good. Got all kinds of good stuff happening. Oh my God. I am seriously just loving life because every week there's a cool new horror movie out in theaters. I mean, even Passenger, which wasn't great, was still really enjoyable. I still had a good time with it, Man, we're eating good out here. Erica is saying, but wait, what if Ian's money came from a robbed bank and eventually he'd be caught and in trouble, but we never got to see how his wish went because he died. How he got the wish and 10 minutes later he was ended. That's a good point. Ooh. What if he had to clean the money? Like, that would be a fucking nightmare, right? Like, dude, it's one thing. It's one thing if you're like, Breaking Bad style situation. You're running a laundromat or a car wash place, couple $100 every now and then. But $1 billion, like, dude, you're not cleaning that. That's crazy. That's so much money. Yeah, you would just be fucked. That's really interesting, Erica. See, that would be fucked. That would be a total cursed wish. But I almost think, I do kind of think there is something interesting about Obsession not being cursed with the wishes. This looks like it's about to unplug. This feels loose and that stresses me out. I don't like that. I don't like it. Can we type? We're going to go like this tonight. There we go. There is a part of me that does like the idea that the wishes aren't cursed. It's just Bear made a fucked up wish. It's just that came from within. It's interesting to me, but that also would be funny. Necro is saying, I have the same issue with Obsession that I have with The Substance, and that I think it would be way more compelling if both versions of the girl were the same consciousness but still end up in failure. We're the same consciousness but still end up in... So, what do you... I see what you mean, talking about The Substance, but I guess, with Obsession, I guess I'm trying to figure out what you mean by that. I think it would be way more compelling if both versions of the girl were the same consciousness, but still ended up in failure. Like Nikki just her personality was completely changed. Like she wasn't trapped inside of her own body kind of thing. You know, Necro, I just watched, so we were talking about Tales from the Crypt earlier, and I yet again have a new piece of this puzzle to throw out there because I've seen 2 episodes so far. And I watched episode 1, like season 1, episode 1. Great episode. Talk about that sometime in the future. But then I had someone comment on my Obsession review, and they're like, Jake, like, Obsession was cool, I guess, but it kind of just ripped off, you know, season 3, episode 1 of Tales from the Crypt, which I think is called Loved to Death. And I'm like, huh, interesting. So I actually, that was the next episode of Tales from the Crypt that I watched. And I, you know, watching it, I'm like, okay, I totally see what you're saying. It's very similar, but you don't like I think the big difference between that episode and Obsession, it's a similar setup. You know, guy loves a girl that's not really into him and uses something, in this case, a potion, like a literal love potion to make her like obsessed with him, you know? But where the story goes is like her personality is just totally changed and shifted. Maybe you've seen this one before. If you have, I'll shut up. But if you haven't seen the episode, like her personality just changes from like being repulsed by the guy to now I'm in love with you. Like I just want to spend all my time with you, and all it's like it's too much. Oh my God, whoa, too much of a good thing. Complete opposite of what the situation was before. And the episode actually ends with with both of them dying. And they end up in purgatory together where like he's being tortured by her forever. And at least for me, I feel like that's less compelling than Obsession. Like I feel like it doesn't get into the same kind of substance as Obsession either, where it's like, you know, I think it's so easy to walk away from something like Obsession and be like, oh, Nikki was the bad guy, you know, that's crazy. But I that's so not the case. You know, I feel like Bear is the one that made all this happen. And whenever he's confronted with the harsh reality that, you know, Nikki is still in there somewhere, he takes it personally. You know, his ego is to be harmed rather than, you know, looking out for his friend at the end of the day. And I think that's kind of fucked up, right? Where something like that Tales from the Crypt episode doesn't have that extra layer, doesn't make it, you know, doesn't really have that commentary because of that. So I don't know. I guess for me personally, I kind of like that there's like another entity. Like I think that it says more about Bear than it does Nikki. And I think that's interesting. But in terms of the substance, I think that's a really fair criticism and a really interesting one too, because a lot of people have criticized, especially that scene in The Substance where the two characters are fighting each other. And it's like, but aren't these kind of like the same consciousness, but in different bodies? Like what is the rules with The Substance here? That gets really blurry, especially with that scene where they're literally fighting each other. Like what's happening here? But I think, you know, ultimately at the end of the day, sometimes movies are saying more than just one thing. And I think that's what that comes down to, especially in The Substance, where like I feel like the first half of that movie is dealing with, you know, this aging star dealing with that and not necessarily going through the different seasons of her life with grace because of outside forces. But then you get to that scene with Margaret Qualley, and she's literally going on the talk show and talking shit about her mom. You know, now I feel like we've entered a new territory of commentary where the movie is kind of talking about how, you know, the younger generation kind of maybe shits on the older generation a little bit. Like you're not paying, like there's kind of a horrible thing happening on both sides here where it's like, you know, the aging star kind of looking at the new star, feeling some jealousy. There's some relatability there. That's where the fight ultimately comes from. I think that scene is setting it up. But I think that's all ultimately up to debate. And I think you can absolutely argue that, well, you're kind of messing up, kind of getting a little messy with your logic here to inject that piece of commentary. So I do understand that. I could talk on and on and on and on about that because I do think it's a fascinating element to The Substance. And I also think, you know, part of Obsession has that too. You're saying his wish was for Nikki to love him, not some infantile demon. I think though, you know, at least for me, how I took that, and if you disagree, that's all good. I think how I took that in Obsession is like, you know, when it comes to wishes, I'm so familiar with like Aladdin and other kind of like projects like that where they have this rule of like, I can't make someone fall in love with you. Like I can't, that's a rule. And I feel like that's a rule for a reason, because it's like, well, you'd have to fundamentally change how someone feels. Because like we are all attracted to certain things. We all have, you know, like desires and attractions. Let's just put it out there. We're all human and we all feel things, you know, just what it is. And Nikki, let's say in this situation, maybe didn't necessarily have that strong desire for Bear in her life, maybe attracted to different kinds of people, different kinds of things, whatever. And And, you know, you'd have to fundamentally change a person to do that. So I guess Curry Barker is kind of answering that question by saying, like, well, if you made that wish, instead of just, you can't do it, like there's a block here at this pass, it would just, like, we'd have to fulfill this wish somehow because you broke the one wish Willow. So we'll just put another personality inside of Nikki that kind of resembles her. And we're kind of flipping between that and the other thing. So I get that criticism, I do. But I think it's interesting because we've kind of built on top of something that we've always felt was an impossibility in the world of wishes and did something different with it. So I kind of appreciate it. I think it's interesting. And I also think it's interesting that there's moments where we get actual Nikki and then, you know, whatever's like this new personality that's been placed inside of her throughout the entire movie. We're constantly flipping back and forth between those two things, which I personally think is really cool. I think that's kind of an interesting, terrifying, like fate worse than death kind of situation that, like, for me at least, I don't like, this is tough to explain, but I feel like in horror, if you can make death not the worst option for a character, if you can make continuing living scarier than death, you have succeeded in making a terrifying horror flick, because it's not enough to kill somebody anymore in horror. You gotta push farther than that. You gotta get creative. And I almost, like, logic almost doesn't even matter to me anymore if you can create that situation. If you can push past that in some supernatural fucked up way, that is always gonna be scarier to me than just straight up death. Because that's just momentary pain and lights out, you know, it's over, whatever. But I think that a situation where you are kept alive and being forced to watch something like that, like Nikki literally being forced to watch her entire life be destroyed by another entity using her body. She's forced into this passenger, you know, submissive position. That's terrifying. Oh, I mean, it kind of hits on something similar to like Get Out, where it's like you're just a passenger in your own body. You're in the sunken place, you know, and just watching this person take over your body and live your life for you. Like, ooh, that's scary to me. I love that shit. If you can create that, I'm down. Like, I'm down for it. Let's go. You're saying, right, I think you shouldn't be able to do it unless it's the other dimension thing. But really, Nikki was in some hellish dimension on the phone. The whole Willow for $7 thing with almost no rules sucks. You think it's like, you just think it's too simple. It's too simple of a way to get to that point. I mean, that's fair. I don't know. I guess that doesn't bother me. I think that's kind of cool. Yeah, I'm not, like, I guess I'm just not too concerned with logic when, like, I guess it's rule of cool for me, you know, and that doesn't, if that works for you, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But like, I just think where the movie ultimately goes to because of that is so worth it. Like, I just don't, you know, like, I'll get upset with logic if your destination sucks balls. Like, I think that, you know, I'm definitely harder on projects when, you know, shit doesn't add up and where you're getting to is just fucking boring. I mean, The Strangers Chapter 3 is like, it's a 90-minute movie and it feels so goddamn long. Where Obsession, I'm like, I would kill for another 10 minutes of this. And it's like an hour 40 something, you know, and it feels so much shorter than that, dude. At least for me. And again, if that doesn't work for you, that's all good. Rule of cool is subjective as hell. But I guess for me at least, I'm just like, if you can achieve something really fucking cool, you can keep me invested with it. I can look past, like, logic is like the least of my concerns in that case. Allie is also hanging out with us saying, Jake, would you ever consider doing a live Q&A? I guess that's kind of what we're doing right now. You know, I guess we're kind of talking, you know, we're talking horror, we're talking questions, we're talking shit. So yeah, I mean, you know, if you got any questions at all horror related, if you're curious about shit going on the page, ask away, fire away. We're down for it, baby. Coop is saying, went to see Obsession solo because my girlfriend was too scared and I accidentally stepped on this woman's leg. Oh, that's terrible. That's not good at all. I know my fiance very well at this point, and I know like what movies she would like and which ones. She would not like Obsession. I know Madison, that wouldn't really be her cup of tea. You know, we went to go see The Substance, and I really thought she would like that movie. I feel like, you know, what I knew, I hadn't seen it, but what I knew about it was like, okay, this is a feminist body horror movie. I feel like it's going to say a lot about that. And like, for her, at least, it was too much. And I think Madison doesn't really like satire. Like that's kind of what I've learned about her. That's not really her vibe. And that's totally fine. Like if that's not what you like, that's not what you like. That's just what it is. But I can kind of get into satire because like it's putting the awful thing on display and demonizing it. But I feel like some people come to satire and they're like, well, you're kind of just putting it on a pedestal by giving it a platform anyways. I disagree with that, but some people feel that way. You know, some people are like, well, I don't even want to see that in the movie at all. You know, you put that in there, you're propping it up. I disagree with that take, but I get it. I get why people would have that reaction to something like The Substance, or something even like Obsession, which kind of shows you like a character, you know, the nice guy, but really this nice guy is super toxic, you know, doing what he's doing. So I can understand being turned away by something like Obsession for going there, but I feel like it's satire. I feel like it's using that to, you know, kind of to demonize it through this story as a cautionary tale. You know, sometimes we got to go to dark places in horror in order to do something fresh, in order to say something powerful. And I feel like Obsession, at least for me, totally achieves that. Something like The Substance totally achieves that, even though it is it's a difficult, hard pill to swallow, man, because it's you know, I know there's a lot of people who would come to that movie and be like, wow, that makes me feel insecure. That's crazy. But I do feel like it's, I feel like some people can get something out of that. And I think that's special. I think that's something we got to value. Erica, I really appreciate you for shouting out some of the other channels and things we're working on here. Really appreciate you a bunch. Yeah, so Dexter Season 2, Episode 5 is currently out. Episode 6 is out now for channel members and Patreon supporters. If you want to watch that uncut and uncensored, you can check out pretty much all the episodes over on Patreon, my uncut watch, which is pretty fun, so please give that a try. Lots of fun stuff happening over there. And also, Human Egg Productions, this is our production channel. We're going to be posting some new shorts over there soon, which is what we're shooting here in a couple of days. So please go check that out. Please go check out that channel. Go subscribe. We're going to be posting stuff throughout June over there, and I hope you guys like it. So we're doing a little trial run this month to see if people want to see shorts from us, and I hope you guys enjoy it. I don't want to say what they are or what the vibe is going to be, but if you're down for some short form, you know, fun little skits and, you know, horror and comedy stuff, we're doing a little bit of both. Check it out. Human Egg Productions. We're going to do some crazy stuff over there. So give it a watch. We're doing a lot of experimenting with different things. So please check it out. We're going to do a little production the end of this week. And hopefully we come out with some gold, baby. We got some really crazy ideas that we're going to shoot this week. So I'm excited for it. I'm excited for you to see what we're working on. Coop is saying same about The Substance, man, but my lady hates body horror. Yeah, dude, it's not gonna be for everybody. It's you know, I think for me, I'm so like, at least my situation, I'm just so like, I watch horror and like I'm desensitized. Like it doesn't hit me as hard these days anymore. Every now and then something gets under my skin, but it takes a lot. Obsession was the last time that happened, and it had been a while, admittedly, but I think that, you know, just satire in general or things that are putting on display something really tough to swallow or watch, it's just, at the end of the day, it's just not going to be for everybody. That's just what it is. But I feel like when it comes to that stuff, like when you're really pushing boundaries, that's when you've made something really special. Like sometimes like people are like, Jake, I can't believe you hated this super popular movie. And I'm like, it was fine, but I've seen a million movies just like it. Like when you do something that's like risky or something that, you know, could be offensive to a group of people, like that's when I get interested, because it's like, dude, that's when we're getting into the weeds, into something real. You know, we're not beating around the bush. We're not trying to cater to as many human beings as possible. This is a movie that is for a specific group of people, and it's gonna hurt. You know, we're gonna rip a Band-Aid off here. You know, there's a few movies like that where I've had some great experiences with and maybe learned something about life, or maybe was angry about something in the moment. Like there's been a lot of movies where I walked away from them like kind of pissed off, but then I'll come back to them and I'm like, I'm glad I was pissed off watching that movie. I feel like I learned something about myself, or, you know, like the way the world works, like just from watching this. So I don't know, you know, there's that line about, There's that like quote where I can't remember the full thing, but it's like some people will find the secrets to the universe on a bubble gum wrapper, and that's kind of what horror movies are to me. You know, like I feel like I've learned a lot about life by seeing movies and seeing what people want. Like people want to like die for to put on screen. You know, people will kill to make this movie and why it means so much to them. And I feel like I've learned so much about, you know, people's psychology, how we all work through horror films. And I don't know, I think that's awesome. That's why I have such a passion for them. And I think when movies don't really deliver on that, they just don't really pique my interest. I think psychology is really the thing that I love the most. I think I just love, people are so interesting to me. People and how they operate are so fascinating to me. King Olives is saying, if you were a horror director, I would be ride or die horror writer giving you my ideas. Let's go, King Olives. Let's make some shit. Let's go, baby. That's too funny. I love it. Silver Princess throwing $5 out there. Thank you, my friend, for the support. I really appreciate that. Roman is the strongest Ghostface. Erica is the best mod. Agreed. Everyone sucks but me. Bye. Wow. Silver Princess has spoken. She's a one and done, guys. We love it, though. We love it. We respect it. Thank you for the support. Thank you for reminding us of who the strongest Ghostface is. And yes, we love Erica around here as well. Way too damn funny. Thank you for the support, my friend. I really appreciate you again, and hope you're doing well. Thank you for dropping by. YB Coraline is saying, all right, I'm going to use the middle school murder mystery concept and try to make it different from Scream. Thank you, Jake, Erica, and chat for an awesome horror-filled night. Hell yeah, thanks for being with us, dude. We really appreciate it. Write something good. Write something good. We need it in the space, damn it. And I think that's a great note to end this stream on. Write something good. Write a great story. Make something great happen, because that's where all this great horror comes from, baby. Write something that means something to you. And it doesn't matter if someone else hates it. Because no matter what, there's someone out there that's going to hate the thing you're doing right now. And that's okay. That's the demon in the corner we got to accept, baby. But so much love to you all. Thank you so much for the support tonight. I appreciate y'all for hanging out. We are going to have a really fun stream tomorrow, doing another bracket stream. And then next Thursday. So, okay, we have a lot of streams coming up that I'm excited for. Tomorrow, bracket stream. Don't miss it. It's going to be awesome. Next Monday, we're doing Lethal Collective on this page, which of course is going to be great as always. Love the Lethal Collective dudes. Hopefully all of us are there this time. And then next Thursday, we're doing something really different, something we have never done before on this page in the form of live streams. It's going to be fun. It involves the number 100. That's all I'm going to say. It involves the number 100, and that's the only clue I will give you. But next Thursday is going to be a really fun stream, and I'm really, really excited for it. So stop on by for all of that. Lots of fun projects on the way. New Dexter videos arriving soon. Hopefully tomorrow if I can get this edited. And as always, everybody, don't forget to kill it out there, y'all. Bye-bye. Goodbye. Goodbye.